My name is H.J. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. This is perhaps the most important segment I've ever done. In the history of this YouTube channel, this is possibly, with high to moderate confidence, like the NSA and CIA regarding Russia, the most important YouTube segment I've ever done. The news has now started to fabricate and completely make up and contrive and imagine things that have never taken place. From liars, known liars, who claim that events took place simply to create this ridiculous, insane narrative that Trump got peed on. Look, before I get to James Comey fabricating that Trump told him he was never in Moscow the night that he was supposed to get peed on, this is where we're at. We're sleeping as a nation. You know, we experienced as a country the most horrendous event on 9/11 18 years ago. 17 years ago going on. But we were asleep on 9/11 because we were focused on the dumbest things. We're asleep again, and we as a nation are beholden to Bill and Hillary Clinton because it's actually Bill who's into that stuff, getting peed on. And Hillary, who probably, who knows what she's into, getting drunk in the woods in a drunken stupor every day, who knows? Election night wasn't pretty, let's just put it that way. But I'm going to read you, now this is all the rage, the quote-unquote journalists are, and by the way, I have a great article coming out. I want everyone to share it. It might be coming out tomorrow or the next day. But I want it's all the rage now. People are saying, the Washington Post, Politico, Trump's false claims to Comey about Moscow could aid Mueller. How? It is already an established fact that he went to the Miss Universe pageant in Moscow. So tell me again how this is a he said issue. It's not a false claim. It's Comey's recollection because he knew it would corroborate with the Steele Dossier, which he utilized without verifying to intimidate an incoming president at the behest or request of Obama to help Clinton in the event that she lost the election, which Obama was smart enough to know that she would lose. So this is Politico. Trump's false claim to Comey about Moscow State could aid Mueller. Okay, why? What false claim? How do you know it's a false claim? Because Comey lied under oath. Comey lied when he said that he exonerated Clinton after the Peter Strzok interviewed her. Peter Strzok, we know, had an insurance policy with Andrew McCabe. That was his text message. That's all you need to do if you're on CNN or MSNBC debating one of these people and like, oh, well, Russia. Yeah, Peter Strzok is an insurance policy. Andrew McCabe. We can't take the risk of Trump becoming president. But anyway, James Comey said the president told him that he never spent the night in Moscow in 2013. So, here's another way of repeating that sentence. Known liar who committed perjury and who leaked classified intelligence or memos. Known liar that nobody should believe, who's selling a book, who's a disgraced, fired FBI official, who presided over the biggest cover-up, the most failed, ridiculous, insane, absurd cover-up, where he tried to say that Hillary didn't intentionally commit crimes when they shipped a laptop. This is a profanity alert. Do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity. They shipped a physical laptop in the fucking mail. And the fucking mail, they put it in there. We're going to get this in this mailbox. Physically, in the mail. I used to say UPS, FedEx, we don't know, but apparently it was U.S. Postal Service. And a thumb drive with her emails before retroactive classification. Comey gave 4 out of 7 memos. Bob Goodlatte, congressman, had to read Comey's memos in a SCIF, sensitive compartmented information facility. If you're a veteran, or if you're active duty military, or if you've had a security clearance, you know about that infinitely more than I do. You definitely know about that infinitely more than Clinton does. Clinton didn't know what the C meant. She thought it meant casserole. She thought it meant catnip. Peter Strzok asked her, hey, do you know what the C means? It means confidential. I don't know. Does it mean car? She didn't know. So James Comey says the president told him that he never spent the night in Moscow in 2013 because Trump never told that to him. And number one. Number two, he knew exactly that it would then spin a narrative. Social media and his bodyguard's testimony show otherwise. Yeah, his bodyguard's testimony. How do you know Comey? How do you know Trump even denies that? Why would Trump deny being someplace simply because somebody accused him of getting peed on? Why would you deny being someplace? Or why would I deny if I didn't get peed on and you didn't get peed on and Trump didn't get peed on? Who cares where he was? This is where they've gone to the depths of insanity. This is why I'm voting for Trump 2020. Completely obliterate peacefully and legally, in a legal manner, in a peaceful manner, completely. This is a profanity alert. Do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity. Completely fucking obliterate the Democratic Party peacefully and legally. That's it. That's it. Because they've now gone to insane mode. They're suing the universe. We're going to sue Russia. This is not going to be viewed as some kind of insane attempt for credibility. We're going to sue Russia and WikiLeaks and Trump. Yeah, and the discovery phase will be, and we have nothing. And BuzzFeed is suing the DNC. How does that work? How do you sue? That's really funny. How do you sue Trump when BuzzFeed is suing you when they publish the Steele Dossier and you refuse to give evidence? That is hilarious. That funny twist of fate it should be enough to just share this segment everywhere. DNC sues Trump for colluding with Russia and allegedly getting peed on. That's all in the Steele Dossier. And then BuzzFeed is suing the DNC because it doesn't have enough evidence to corroborate what it accused Trump of doing in the first place, which is getting peed on. If anything, Trump should sue the DNC and Comey, and that would be actually better than, and Mueller. But anyway, the Mueller thing could be hyperbole in suing Mueller. Actually, no, that's not. Perhaps not. If the Mueller investigation is based on leaked memos, an illegal act, he should fire Mueller tomorrow. But anyway, James Comey says the president told him he never spent the night in Moscow in 2013. Who cares what James Comey said? He's a liar. He's a slippery, lying, reptilian MFer. But flight records, social media, and his bodyguard's testimony show otherwise. Yeah, okay, show otherwise regarding what? He never told anyone. There's no proof that he actually said anything to the contrary of being there. Late last January, at a private White House dinner attended by Donald Trump and Jim Comey, the president steered the conversation to a sensitive topic. Says whom? Says who? She says who? The golden shower thing. Okay, this is a profanity alert. What a bunch of bullshit. This is an imaginary event that took place in the sick, demented mind of Comey. He wanted the then FBI director to know, Comey later wrote in a memo, this is a profanity, vulgar alert. When you wipe your behind after going to the bathroom, what you have there is worth infinitely more than Comey's memos. It would be very interesting if what you have there is classified, which probably a lot is classified in the U.S. government. That is just like that. But Comey's memo is absolutely worthless. This is a vulgarity alert. Profanity alert and vulgarity alert. Comey's memo is the discarded condom of the intelligence community. And not from Trump, from the Clintons, and Comey and McCabe and Strzok and Page and all of them. They put this country They didn't even care about this country. They're essentially traitors. Essentially, they're traitors. They didn't take money from another country, which is the definition of treason, to hurt this country. But what they did is they hurt this country in another way, in a more slippery, slimy way. They're essentially traitors. And the only way to deal with traitors of that type is to peacefully and legally vote for Trump. This type of treason, this type of, foul play cannot be met with any violence, because that would actually bolster their sick behavior. You can only be peaceful and just go through the polls and vote. You don't even have to tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Me, I enjoy people like, you're crazy. Oh my God, you nut job. You lunatic. They call me lunatic. Why am I lunatic? Because I don't agree with the mainstream narrative, and I've been proven right time and again. I said these people are like, you never write about anything. Well, I don't. You didn't even read my writing for what, from 2015 until November 8, 2016. I said Clinton would lose. I couldn't even be clearer in the headlines. Like, literally, one headline was like, why Bernie beats Trump, and I believe at that point, with a unified party, well, maybe, who knows? But that's in another alternate universe. But Trump defeats Clinton. And I had different variations of titles regarding Trump defeating Clinton. There was even an article written about me saying that I talked about Trump defeating Clinton like a week before the election. I was always saying Trump was going to defeat Clinton. I was right. It didn't need Russian hackers, which never took place. That also never took place. And then saying, oh, I'm a lunatic. For what? For what? I was right. The lunatics are the people who were like, Clinton's wonderful. Sure, she passed out. I definitely don't want her to wish her all the best in life. God bless her. 120 years. I want her to be alive, happy, wonderful. The indictments will take place, but she passed out, and then you literally had journalists saying, this is heroic. I had pneumonia in college, one guy said. And let me tell you something, she's a really tough cookie. They're out of their minds, okay? They're the lunatics. I'm the sane person, they're the lunatics. Okay, they're the ones and then they're blaming Russia. So tell me again who the crazy people are. These are the sane people who are actually really crazy and, the real lunatics. Clinton is the best, most qualified candidate. She's going to win. Okay, we saw how that worked out. Russia stole the election because Trump got peed on. Oh, that's normal. Oh, that's really the height of sanity. What else? Trump's going to destroy the planet even though he might actually make peace or denuclearization with North Korea. George Bush is better than Trump. George W. Bush, the worst president by far, got us into Iraq and Afghanistan, destroyed the whole Middle East. I mean, I don't want to get into serious, I'm kind of but I mean, that, and then Obama continued his mistakes, even though he ran on a platform saying that Bush was wrong. So you tell me who the crazy people are and who the sane people are. But, okay, he wanted then FBI director to know, Comey later wrote in a memo that he wanted then FBI to know, Comey later wrote in a memo. Who cares about Comey's memos? Why would you trust Comey? The guy is a freaking liar. I don't know if I need a profanity alert for that one, but he's a liar. Why trust him? And then suddenly you make this big deal and everybody's, oh yeah, it could have happened. And then the notion that, Trump is the type of guy who really would cave into pressure. He doesn't want people to know that he was peed on. He didn't get peed on. Okay, he didn't get peed on. It's a part of a salacious dossier. It's unverified. Well, some things are verified. Yeah, if you were at the movie theater with your mom, and then somebody told your wife that you were there with a Playboy model, you were at the movie theater. But you're with your mom, not a Playboy model. A little bit different. That's like saying, well, some things were verified. You were in the movie theater, weren't you? they're like petulant, idiotic people. You can't win with them. So they just point to BuzzFeed suing the DNC. Then they're like, haha, Michael Cohen dropped his lawsuit. Yeah, well, he dropped his lawsuit against BuzzFeed. The 4 Russians who were suing BuzzFeed into oblivion didn't. I don't think and unless there's a huge settlement, they're not going to drop their lawsuit. And the reason is because Mueller went after him to try to get to Trump, and then we hear Cohen's going to flip. Yeah, the assumption there is that there's a crime that he committed with Trump. What's the crime? How is he able to get away without anyone talking about it? Clintons got away with what they did. It's because they have this media apparatus, and there have been FBI Clinton Foundation probes. There have been investigations, but they always, it's not, they didn't mean to do it. Loretta Lynch says, nah, let's not talk about it anymore. Andrew McCabe brings it up to the Wall Street Journal, but actually does his best to prevent the probes from ongoing. So now they've reignited the probes. It's all happening. But Trump, quote, had spoken to people who had been on the trip with him, and they had reminded him that he didn't stay overnight in Russia for that, Comey recalled. Comey recalled anything that says Comey said, Comey recalled, Comey wrote in the memo, it should be completely ignored as a fabrication, just like the Trump-Russia dossier, just like Clinton winning Utah. People were saying she was going to win Utah and Texas and Arizona. I am the crazy one saying she wasn't going to win Texas. They're the sane ones saying that she was going to win Texas. Okay, well, again, we now have a difference of opinion what sanity means. Trump made the same claim a second time, telling Comey in the Oval Office meeting, quote, that he hadn't stayed overnight in Russia during the Miss Universe trip, as Comey wrote. So this is all a result of Comey saying he didn't say something and then trying to prove that he did based on what Comey stated he said. Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous, more absurd in your life? What kind of stupid idiot would believe that? Then they're like, oh my God, flight records contradict Trump's apparent claim. This is where we're at as a nation. Flight records contradict Trump's apparent claim. You should never be talking about Trump's apparent claim to begin with, especially if he didn't make the claim. This is a profanity alert. This is a profanity alert. Please do not listen if you don't want to hear profanity. Is it too fucking hard to understand, you brainwashed idiots? If someone doesn't make a claim, you should probably not talk about that person needing to prove themselves regarding an imaginary claim that somebody who hates that person made. How many times have you been accused of something simply because somebody said you said something? Okay, that's not proof. Because somebody said you said something is not proof of anything, especially if that person doesn't like you. So, and then, of course, Washington Post, Trump has some explaining to do about his 2013 trip. So flight records, they're so proud. Flight records contradict the imaginary claim fabricated by Comey. Wow. Impeachment? Do we smell impeachment in the air? This is insane. This is stupid. We're now into... And then we go, a conscious effort by Trump to mislead FBI director could lend weight to the allegation. A conscious effort? This is no offense to Politico or Washington or to the authors or whatever. They're great journalists. This is just the way I read things when the I don't know if the word is zeitgeist or the what's going on in journalism today is absolutely insane. It's all gossip and hearsay. Whereas this is a reaction. This is an unhealthy, sick reaction to WikiLeaks emails being pristine. So the whole thing is about they want to react because WikiLeaks was actually pristine. So they're saying, well, you know what? It's the same thing. We're just going to make things up. Because this is an era of, whistleblowing. And no, what they're doing is tattletaling. What they're doing is fabricating and rumor and gossip and just making things up. What WikiLeaks did is actually publishing whistleblowers and pristine documents so we learn of what's really going on. The corruption, written from the grubby little hands of very corrupt people. A conscious effort by Trump to mislead the FBI director could lend weight to the allegation, contained in a largely unverified private research dossier compiled by a former British spy bought by Clinton. Gee whiz. Isn't it funny how everything in this investigation is either bought by Clinton or linked to somebody who works for Clinton or somebody who likes Clinton? Isn't it funny how Peter Strzok hated Trump, but then interviewed Clinton and, oh, miraculously she's okay, interviews Michael Flynn, something, big problem there, he lied, which he didn't. Peter Strzok had no interest. Oh, Comey had no interest. McCabe had no interest. Bruce and Ellie Orr had no interest. What about Cody Shear and Sidney Blumenthal? Did they have an interest? Yes. Obama had no interest to cover for the fact that he knew of Clinton's server. Of course, they all had their own agendas. And it wasn't the United States of America. It was something else. A conscious effort by Trump to mislead the FBI director could lend weight. Okay. That Trump engaged in compromising activity during a trip that exposed him to Russian government blackmail. Do you think he would care, even if it was true? He would make money off of it. He'd be like, yeah, I got peed on. I'm still going to win. You could get, let's put it this way. On November 8th, this is a profanity alert, or Vogue. On November 8th, as people were going to the polls, he could actually just get peed on 24 hours a day, like for the whole day, just have prostitutes pee on him nonstop. Trump would still win. And Clinton would be like, I can't believe I'm not 50 points ahead. Look, he's getting peed on. It's been, what? This is a Guinness Book of World Records. He's getting peed on nonstop. Doesn't matter. That hair would have been even more orange or yellow or whatever. Disgusting. I know. I don't want to see the visual, but he would still win. It could have been a nonstop Stormy Daniels P-Fest tape where he just got urinated on non-stop for 24 hours before November 8, 2016. He'd still win the election. Probably by a wider margin. There's nothing that could have happened. Nothing. Nobody would have cared. Well, do you think the Russians could use this against him? I don't know. We're watching him get peed on live TV. Oh, well. No, yeah, Clinton's crazy. I'll vote for Trump. He'd still win no matter what. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. This is all insane. I'll put the links below. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. They're now debunking things that they think he said. Meanwhile, Clinton's like, I survived Bosnian sniper fire. I didn't send or receive anything classified. Lie. These are huge things. But with Trump, they're like, let's make up something he said. Comey said he said it, so it's okay. He's a known liar. And then let's debunk it. And it would be clever. We'll look at the plane records. Oh, wow. We're so smart. These are the idiots who, like, the United States media is composed of people who, primarily white liberals, who view the 8 years, let's say they started in journalism when they were 22 or 25 or 24, and they were 32 and they're in their early 30s, 8 years now, where Obama's administration destroying Libya, lying about a server, droning the planet, getting us into Yemen and Syria, attacking whistleblowers. Those are formative years. They never been to a library book sale in their lives. They don't even care about. They don't even know, like, they have no concept of history or like what it was like before cable or in the internet, or they don't have any concept of what the real Cold War was. Even though I grew up in the tail end of that, the 80s, you could still remember. They don't have anything that binds them in terms of an understanding of what takes place if you push Russia too much, if you push for a Cold War too much. There's nothing there that they can go back on and say, gosh, that was pretty crazy when the Soviets were actually pointing nukes at us. That was crazy. Their lives are like, their formative moment was 8 years of Obama. If your formative moment in journalism, like that, you think that's the way things should run, you have major problems. You have major problems. And you bring up Woodward and Bernstein. Oh, they don't like Trump. Yeah, and how did they take down Nixon from Mark Felt, an FBI informant? Deep State was alive and well then also. fast forward, who knows what's going on with, who knows who the Mark Felt is nowadays, but you have the anti-Mark Felt, the anti-Deep Throats in McCabe and Comey. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Share this segment over. Subscribe to this YouTube channel right now. Thank you so much for listening.